Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're going to be talking about one of the bigger topics over here, where is it really even needed to go have a PlayStation 5 Pro or even an Xbox Series X Pro at this current day and age? As well, I've also had a chance to go and talk about the fact of, well, we kind of need to have some brand new games coming in the first place, and on top of that too, the fact that places like Ubisoft, who actually never really pushed for the PS5 or Xbox versions, like the next generation versions, actually did kind of okay either way. So we're going to have a nice little discussion video on this one. And as well, hope you guys are all just having a good day. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We got the Twitter and Twitch room down below in case you guys want to follow. So I have all the Amazon links for all the consoles down below too as well. And of course, I just appreciate you guys all so much for stopping on by. Let's go and dive into the video itself. So very first and foremost, the big topic of this video and, well, kind of the discussion over here. Would you guys even want to go and buy and spend the extra money over here for a mid-gen console upgrade? So now I'm a little bit kind of curious on this one too, because I have been kind of adamant where if there's a PlayStation 5 Pro or Xbox Series X or Y or whatever you want to go call it, I will probably not end up buying it myself. Mainly because for me, I care more about the exclusives, but I don't really necessarily care too much about the graphics. I'm more of a PC guy myself, and traditionally, I'd probably rather just go play most games on my PC, which already has like a 3080 Ti, and it's kind of like slightly higher up, at least in my opinion. But one of the bigger things is that, well, people are obviously excited for the PS5 Pro. People are obviously excited for maybe next-gen Xbox, and of course, want to have better graphics. So we actually have a pretty cool article here from regards to Paul, where he dropped the would you even pay for the mid-gen PS5 Pro or Xbox Series maybe Y upgrade. Now, I'm going to talk about this a bit too, because we do keep on seeing the rumors and the news and everything with it, and well, I'm not against it. I think if they want to make it, they want to utilize it, and people are going to buy it, might as well. But I think I'm someone who probably won't. We also saw a lot of news when it came to the PlayStation VR 2, where, like, in theory, it was cool. It was nice. I don't think a lot of folks did enjoy the idea of it, but it was just a little too costly, a little bit too niche. And I feel like that might actually end up being the same thing for PS5 Pro or Xbox 2 as well. So basically saying we're far enough into this console generation where it doesn't really feel like that. Where the last console generation, the idea of a mid-gen PlayStation or Xbox upgrade is starting to become a topic of conversation. PS4 and Xbox One were both released in 2013. PS4 Pro arrived around 2016, around 3 years later, which is getting close to the point where we're at right now. The rumors are also pushing for a 2024 release date for the PS5 Pro, and of course, for sure, Xbox is probably cooking up something in the background too as well. The Xbox One X arrived in 2017, around 4 years later, and this is probably what we'll be expecting for this year. The PS5 was released in 2020, and in early 2023, we're approaching the year 3 mark, just a few months away, maybe like another 5 months away or so. The Xbox Series X and S was released in 2020 as well, so about the same metric, perhaps November 2024, or maybe even early 2025 to have the entire year for it. And maybe use that same end of the year 2025 to maybe go and have like a big game console, a bundle, kind of how we see with God of War or Horizon. But they're saying this generation feels different than last generation, with different counter generations on both sides. And for me, who buys every console ever, myself included, they even go and say I'd probably have a hard time shelling out another $500 for an upgraded system, which would be how much of a big upgrade. Now, I'm kind of in that same boat. For me, because I just don't think I need it. For me, I've only had a chance to go utilize my PS5 in quite a few different games, maybe like 5 big games or so. God of War, Horizon, Ratchet & Clank, The Quarry, and maybe like 1 or 2 other ones just kind of thrown on in. Like maybe the good examples, the Ghost of Tsushima DLC and Upgrade. Or maybe as well for the future Spider-Man 2 or Final Fantasy 16. Like I've had a chance to utilize my console. I've played things like Call of Duty. Like I've enjoyed it. But at the same time, I don't really feel like there's a big push or change if I want to get a PlayStation 5 Pro. And it does kind of feel like it's way too early, even a year from now, because we just haven't had that many big games to play. Same thing with Xbox too, with Game Pass also being on PC, but as well with Xbox on the same time, not really having too many big exclusive games. But as well, a lot of the Xbox games aren't even really like that good in terms of graphics or 4K pushing, or just trying to go kind of push, I guess, the graphics zone. Some of the PlayStation games have, like I could definitely give a lot of credit towards PlayStation games for being very well optimized, but as well looking very nice. It doesn't really seem like that needed though. So they say this, well, I don't know. Like, I'm in the difference. So it's pretty obvious why PlayStation isn't launching a PS5 Pro this coming fall, given that the supply of the PS5s only just started coming to basically close to matching demand. And that's, I think, a big thing I mentioned a lot in all my videos. The current PS5 is starting to blow past the PS4, now that people can actually go and get one. We even saw those huge figures of like the 400% increases and everything else tied on in. So we have that at least to look forward to. But at the same time, a PS5 Pro is going to be kind of awkward and weird just to have in general. So it's basically a rumor that PlayStation's working on a PS5 Pro all the same, and we've been hearing about that coming out potentially in 2024, around September and November. Well, we might have this nice smaller console coming out as of this year. We'll maybe hear more information on the next big PlayStation event. So this generation, they seem to have a slight power disparity to Xbox Series X, when basically it was another way around beforehand, though. So this also might be another big thing where PlayStation 5 Pro might actually try to go and do whatever it can to go and beat out the Xbox, because it's been one of the really big factors of why people might even choose the Xbox Series X rather than Game Pass 2 as well. Like the internal specs are slightly better for Xbox, that's confirmed, besides the SSD. So they go and say, though you look at it, at a game like Horizon Forbidden West, you probably wouldn't know it, even though the graphics are slightly better on the Xbox. So basically, it just seems like Sony's a little bit better at optimizing, make their games look nicer, better, more environments, more colorful environments, etc., than Xbox has. It does also kind of seem like Sony will eventually release this PS5 Pro, but also might be a lot more delayed too as well. Like, I kind of feel like in the same boat too, like it actually might be more delayed than expected, because like we just don't really still need it. Like if they're selling the PS5 like hotcakes, maybe use Nintendo as a good example. Like Nintendo probably could have bumped out of Switch Pro or Switch 2 or Switch Super Switch or whatever after quite some time. Like we've kind of been watching that for a while. But at the same time, the Switch has been selling very well, so why would they want to change that? So now we've also been seeing the Switch going down the past maybe like 6 months or so in terms of sales compared to prior years and overall total sales. So at the end of the day, like, bro, maybe they actually might now try to go and get the motivation to want to make their next Switch, because it makes sense. Like the sales just finally going down. So like for an iPhone, like they probably realize that every year people keep on buying the upgrades, or at this point it's almost like a staggered release. There's maybe someone with an iPhone 13 wants to get more of a recent new iPhone, and then there's always going to be someone who's around a 2 to 4 year window that will upgrade on top of the people who want to do a year-to-year upgrade as well. But consoles are slightly more different, because they usually kind of seems a little bit more of like a lower end in comparison to like a high-end PC console. So Xbox though is apparently in a different place and also a different time than the Xbox One era, mainly because the Xbox console has a little bit more on the underpowered prior, but as of right now, the Xbox Series X is actually more of the overpowered console, but also kind of means that it's going to take even longer for their console to become unoptimized and, well, mediocre. It's very intriguing to see this one. And that's kind of, I think, a bigger deal too as well. Like I can totally keep on seeing these like pro versions and like next gen versions, but at the same time, like for Xbox, you just go get a better PC, because you basically do Game Pass on PC anyway, and you kind of go and prioritize, well, everything on PC, just upgrade your PC instead. It's the same stuff, pretty much almost exactly the same. PlayStation is slightly different though, because they do have their own exclusive games too as well. So basically, Microsoft seems to resign to the fact that they're not going to catch up Sony in console sales, and they try to go and say they don't really care about that. And instead, they're focused on getting the Xbox Game Pass on as many devices as possible, which we've totally seen a lot when it comes to their sales, or trying to get things like Call of Duty and everything else all tied on in. So just letting you guys all know on that. Like I kind of agree. So it almost kind of seems like the Xbox actually might have a better incentive to make their own Xbox Series X Pro, just because like they'd maybe have also a chance to get a cheaper version. Like we saw the Xbox like Cloud Stick as well. So maybe they want to keep on trying maintaining like a nice just mid-tier and higher tier, and doing multiple releases, such as like maybe the GPUs. Like we've talked about GPUs before, like an AMD or NVIDIA GPU might be the better decision at the end of the day to go and play and do, because it just gets people on Game Pass. Or like once again, they're putting Game Pass on like TVs or these like little USB sticks that everyone can probably go and utilize, which does make things a little bit easier and chiller at the end of the day. And I could kind of agree. So it almost kind of seems right now the Xbox Series X Pro, or just like a next gen, like Xbox Y, whatever you guys want to go call it, does actually seem a little bit more likely in comparison to the PS5 Pro, at least to come out earlier. Because once again, the more options means the more sales, means they might go hit up other markets such as in India or Australia or the UK, Poland, Germany, or also just kind of maintain a lot more in America as well. On top of that too, the problem right now with Xbox is not power, it's more so about the games. And a lot of games over here are coming out at like 30 FPS and kind of being mediocre, and they want more big general games out there, and that kind of seems like a big deal. So for me, I'm kind of agreeing in Paul, and just my general take, I've been saying on my channel a lot, we don't probably need to have these actually for a long more time. It should probably just be more delayed and let people have a chance to get the consoles and feel like these consoles actually feel dated, and also give a little bit of a breathing room to spend another $500, $600 or so to go and make everything a little bit nicer. But kind of seems like even either way, like something like Ubisoft apparently even has had the biggest issues when it comes to these upgraded versions, where Ubisoft, like the Division 2, has still not even received upgraded versions for the PS5 or Xbox, and may never even will. So it kind of seems like for this, like at the same time, like if we're still not even seeing games being ported to the PlayStation 5 or Xbox, why do we need a Pro? And Ubisoft believes that doing so could leave behind the PS4 and Xbox One players, and it seems respectful, but it just doesn't seem like some game companies even want to go make this big jump as of next. So basically, first and foremost impact is that next-gen console players will not get the best experience because they're basically still stuck on the PS4, etc. So why are we going to have a PS5 Pro when some games are still not even on the PS5 in the first place as well? And on top of that too, it kind of stinks because he also can take advantage of the new hardware capabilities, and as well, Ubisoft may cause some frustration by players because they probably want to have the game come out on Division 3, make their next division, and maybe put that for next gen rather than trying to go and import that up for like Division 2, especially because Division 2 is already 4 years old. But it kind of goes to show that sometimes right now that they need to update their engines and do other various games to make sure everything's all good, because sometimes it seems like there's some issues and other else, like general stuff, not being the overall best. So it's kind of interesting to go and see how some of these big game stuff too. Same with like Killzone. Like Killzone itself has actually had some big issues because once again, we just haven't seen the PlayStation 5 hardware, and we want to see them on a proper good engine and make the games look fantastic, because we haven't really been seeing really big games out there having a chance to utilize this next-gen hardware. So I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing where I just don't really think we need a PS5 Pro yet. We still don't have games being involved. We still have a lot of PlayStation IPs that still need to be made. And of course, we're just not taking advantage of all the hardware. So why do we want to go and expand even more when some games like Ubisoft aren't even doing it? So leave me your thoughts and comments down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed as well. Leave a like. And on top of that, check out the Twitter, Twitch, and Amazon links down below. And I appreciate y'all so much for watching here in the first place.